This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. I'm Meredith Jones.
I'm Bill Bryant. So good to have you on WKYT. It is Wednesday, April 27th. Appreciate you being in this morning.
I am happy to be here this morning with you and Micah.
Michelle taking a day off as she, of course, is filling in for Rebecca. And we have a lot of news coming up for you this morning.
That's right. Now at 6, a man with a gun was tackled inside a Lexington bar. Hear from the employees who took the man down.
Lexington police are looking for the man accused of carjacking a preacher.
And strong storms caused damage and at least one overnight crash in Lexington.
We have the showers out and about early this morning. They're moving eastbound. We're going to start seeing some thunderstorms spark up as we travel off through the rest of your day. You will get breaks in the action, but the main action is back toward the west. I'm going to go over that forecast coming up.
All right, thank you. Let's get right to the news.
New on WKYT this morning, the weather is to blame for an overnight crash in Lexington.
Police say a driver crashed into a tree that fell across Military Pike overnight. You see it there. He was not seriously hurt. Military Pike out by Bluegrass Airport was closed for a few hours until Streets and Roads could get in there and remove the tree. They've done that now. All clear at this point. Remember, you can stay informed by downloading the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. Also new this morning, a man is in jail after a fight at a Lexington bar. It happened in the middle of the night.
That's right, and thanks to some quick-thinking employees, things did not get out of hand despite that man having a gun. WKYT's Mark Barber is live outside Max Karaoke on Lane Allen Road to explain.
Good morning, Meredith. The man who was swiping money from a tip jar here at the karaoke bar did not get far because the bartender and the DJ were not about to let that man slip away. Even though that man was armed with a gun and a knife, the DJ took him down. That takedown happened about 3 hours ago here at Max Karaoke Bar on Lane Allen Road. The bartender and the DJ confronted the armed man when they realized he was pocketing cash from the DJ's tip jar. He pulled out a gun when they tried to stop him, but the employees were able to talk him down. When he started putting the gun away, the DJ tackled the man right to the ground.
We had a few other people jump in as well and made sure that the weapon was taken away from him, and he was held down until the police showed up.
The man who was arrested after the employees here tackled the man to the ground has been booked into the Fayette County Detention Center. However, we have not learned his name yet because he is still being processed. Police tell us that he is charged with first-degree robbery. As far as the employees here who kept that man from escaping, well, they looked out for one very special customer during the intense moments. Coming up at 6:30, we'll explain how they protected a pregnant woman. And that's again coming up at 6:30. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Thank you, Mark. Well, Lexington police are trying to find the man who they say carjacked a pastor at knife point. The preacher told police he was giving the suspect a ride to a hotel off of Winchester Road when that man pulled out a knife and stole the car. The victim went to a nearby gas station to call for help. And police are still looking for the stolen white Kia Soul.
Well, getting a college education here in Kentucky could soon be getting even more expensive. Newly approved tuition increases come after an intense legislative session that brought a lawsuit against the governor. WKYT's Caitlin Sentner is live on the UK campus to break down the details on this story. Caitlin, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Students right here at the University of Kentucky are among students statewide at colleges and universities that could see a tuition hike. Now, state regulators have capped that tuition hike at $500 a year. News of potential tuition increases comes after an intense legislative session. Governor Bevin, in his first year, cut millions in state spending on colleges and universities. Some Democratic state lawmakers still aren't pleased with cuts in the two-year operating budget. A state judge has ruled 3 Democratic lawmakers can join a lawsuit filed by Attorney General Andy Beshear seeking to stop the governor from cutting spending on colleges and universities. Right now, Bevin is overseas, but his spokeswoman says that won't prevent him from issuing vetoes of the state's two-year budget. Midnight tonight.
All right, to apologize for the loss of audio there, but as you know, the governor has until midnight tonight to issue any vetoes. He is overseas, by the way, in Germany, but his office is making it clear that he can issue those vetoes from abroad and apparently will do that. He'll be making some changes to the spending plan, and we'll see exactly what happens with that later today. And we're going to see what happens with this later on this morning when former Governor Steve Beshear is planning to hold a news conference. Beshear has not said what he will be talking about in Frankfurt, but last week Governor Bevin hired a private law firm to investigate reports of wrongdoing in the Beshear administration, including claims of no-bid contracts to help friends. Now, we'll be there to hear what Beshear has to say today at 10 o'clock when we're on with our live mid-morning newscast. And for up-to-the-minute coverage, check out WKYT.com and download the WKYT News app.
A man arrested in Kentucky for the murder of a Florida couple will soon be heading back to the Sunshine State. New this morning, we've learned Michael Harold agreed to be extradited. He was arrested in Perry County earlier this month, days after police say he killed John and Nancy Englehart in the Tampa area. Police say Harold worked for the couple in Florida, but he's originally from Perry County. And some people who live along Anderson County Road are suing the state, saying safety changes need to be made. The suit claims there have been dozens of crashes along Highway 151 near Alton in the last few years, and many of them involving commercial vehicles. It also asks for a restraining order and an injunction forcing the state to limit the vehicles on the road. The state transportation cabinet has said it's asked the Federal Highway Administration to remove the road from the national truck network.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We have some showers overhead early this morning. It's going to be a wet go at it for some of us, especially as you're making your way through Paris there in Bourbon County, North Middletown. You're next in line if you're not seeing it just yet. And then it slides back towards 64 corridor in Montgomery County and Bath County. You guys are going to be next here in about 30 to 45 minutes. But really, we're not really focused in on that. We're actually focused in on the energy back toward the west, because that's the energy that's going to bring us the severe chance later on today. So some wet roads here and there. Look at Frankfurt. You can see the lights glistening off of the wet pavement, and that goes for Lexington, London, and Jackson as well. Scattered showers have rolled through the region past several hours. Thunderstorm activity, not so much as of right now. We're looking back toward Grayson County and Hart County, which obviously is out of our viewing area. That's back toward just north of Bowling Green. That is where thunderstorms are sparking up. Can they stay with enough punch to make their way into our western zones? We'll see that in the next few hours. But as we travel through the day, you can see I put the rain chance and also sunshine back behind that to let you know it's not widespread at those times. You will get breaks in the action, especially as you're around central and northern Kentucky. I would say during the next several hours, you guys have the best chance of having a break. Down south, we're still going to see scattered showers and thunderstorms as we work our way through the morning and afternoon off into the evening hours. So it's going to be on and off all day for south of I-64. 78 degrees by the afternoon. I would say the best chance for the strongest part of the system, meaning strong to potentially a couple of isolated severe cells, comes during late afternoon off into the evening hours. That's when you start to see some storms move on in. And it looks like the best chance for that severe weather is well west of us. However, we're still with that opportunity, an isolated chance as we travel through the next 24 hours, especially in towards your evening and night. I would say that's your best bet to actually see some of these storms pack a punch. And it's going to be just like yesterday, where you get heavy downpours, a lot of lightning. That's what most of these thunderstorms will be. But the isolated chance of severe weather, that's what we have to watch very closely. That's what we had yesterday. We had about 3 or 4 reports. That's about it, but there were a lot of thunderstorms out there.
There was a lot, I agree. I mean, it sounded like dumpster cans were moving back and forth.
Yeah.
It kind of kept me up for a little bit.
I'm with you on that. If the kids don't do it, the thunderstorms will do it.
You know what, I have to be honest, I don't mind it if I'm home,
well,
you know,
and
in bed.
Yeah. It makes you feel a little bit better.
All right, well, each morning thank you, Micah. We bring you weather and traffic together. So here's Officer Don with a look at what's happening happening on the roads.
Good morning. Well, overall, with the wet roads, traffic is light, so we hadn't had any major issues right now. As we get a look outside at your traffic flow this morning in real time, you can see what's happening inbound Nicholasville Road, Harrodsburg Road, even on the north side, North Broadway, Newtown Pike. Everything looks pretty much steady. Downtown construction continues, but no real issues with that this morning. Let's get a look at your drive times now. From Nicholasville, holding about 13 minutes. From Georgetown, 16, and from Paris, about 19 minutes. Police are running radar on Paris Pike early this morning, so be careful on your way in there. And we'll keep you up to date. Now back to you.
All right, we know you will. Thank you, Don. It is 6:09 on WKYT, bright and early on this Wednesday. Hump Day, everybody. That weekend it's somewhere around the corner. And we have more news on the way for you in just a moment.
Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton won big last night, but how close does it put them to securing their party's nomination? I'm Brooke Silva-Braga in New York with more on the results coming up.
And buying in bulk could soon cost you more at Costco. Why one group says now is the time for a price hike. Coming up on WKYT.
Kentucky mornings start here. You're watching WKYT This Morning.
Welcome back to WKYT This Morning. It's 6:14. Frontrunners Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton continue to march toward their party's presidential nominations.
Both picked up victories and delegates in 5 Northeast states that held critical primaries yesterday. Now here is a look at the delegate count for the Republicans. Trump maintaining a large lead and is now less than 300 delegates away from clinching the GOP nomination. Meanwhile, Democrat Hillary Clinton is almost at the point where she is likely to be the nominee. She is less than 250 delegates away from clinching her party's nomination. There's some who believe that could happen about the time of Kentucky's May 17th primary. Brooke Silva-Braga has the latest on campaign 2016.
After sweeping primary wins Tuesday, Donald Trump declared himself the presumptive GOP nominee, urging Ted Cruz and John Kasich to give up.
As far as I'm concerned, it's over. These two guys cannot win. There's no path.
The Republican frontrunner went 5 for 5 in Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. A win next week in Indiana could make Trump unstoppable. Kasich won't campaign in the state, giving Cruz a one-on-one chance to stall Trump.
Tonight, this campaign moves back to more favorable terrain.
The billionaire candidate is already looking ahead to a general election matchup with Hillary Clinton.
The only thing she's got going is the woman's card, and the beautiful thing is women don't like her.
The Democratic frontrunner welcomed the criticism during a victory speech in Philadelphia.
If fighting for women's health care and paid family leave and equal pay is playing the woman card, then deal me in.
Clinton is 90% of the way to securing the Democratic nomination after beating Bernie Sanders in 4 states yesterday. Despite picking up just 1 win in Rhode Island, the Vermont senator vowed to campaign until the convention.
This campaign is not just about electing a president, it is about transforming our nation.
Sanders would need landslide wins in virtually every remaining state to catch Clinton. Brooke Silva-Braga for CBS News, New York.
Cruz and Sanders campaign in Indiana today. Trump will be holding an event in the state tonight after delivering a foreign policy speech in Washington this morning. Former U.S. House Speaker Dennis Hastert will be sentenced today in a hush money case centered on accusations that he sexually abused children 4 decades ago. Hastert pleaded guilty last year to breaking banking laws when he tried to pay $3.5 million to an accuser. The alleged abuse of at least 4 students happened when Hastert was a wrestling coach at an Illinois high school.
Well, this morning, people in parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and Missouri are waking up to assess the damage from a night of intense weather. Now, there were 5 reported tornadoes across the region. The rain turned stairs into waterfalls in Kansas City and flooded the streets of Wichita, as you can see there. In other areas, it was hail that sent people running. Now, parts of the Great Plains are bracing for another round of severe weather today. And federal investigators say they found the missing data recorder for a cargo ship that sank 6 months ago. Now, the recorder may help them better understand the final moments before the El Faro sank near the Bahamas during Hurricane Joaquin. All 33 crew members died. Investigators aren't sure why the ship moved into the path of that storm.
Your time this morning is 6:17 here on WKYT. Wall Street is awaiting this afternoon's announcement by the Fed on interest rates. Experts widely expect the central bank to keep those rates steady, making a rate hike in the near future more likely. Pilgrim's Pride is recalling 4.5 million pounds of cooked chicken products. The recall comes after consumers and federal inspectors found contamination from wood, plastic, rubber, and metal. The chicken products were sold to schools and other institutions under several different brand names. No adverse reactions have been reported at this point. Being a Costco member might cost you more next year. A UBS analyst is predicting the warehouse giant may be planning a membership price hike of $5 to $10. Right now, the annual fee for Costco's basic Gold Star membership is $55. Experts say Costco historically raises its fee about every 5 or 6 years. And the last increase was in 2011. Hershey is trying to keep up with America's changing taste by introducing meat bars. Micah, did you hear that? The chocolate maker will reportedly start selling Crave protein bars made from dried meats, cranberries, and some other items. Hershey bought Crave beef jerky in 2015 and says its new protein bars are expected to hit the stores in August. So there you go. What do you think of that?
That's quite interesting. A meat bar.
Yeah, it is.
I guess you had to get your protein somewhere, right?
Right.
Quick and easy. WKYT this morning, it's just getting started. Even though it's Wednesday, to some it may feel like a Monday. We'll have details on a game you can play at the office to lighten the mood.
We have some showers over us right now, some thunderstorms back west of I-65, a big system farther west than that. We got a lot to talk about with this forecast, and I'll have that coming up next.
Good morning. Welcome back into WKYT this morning. 6:23 after a loud night for many with those storms that rolled through. Hopefully you got some rest.
Let's hope so. Well, the weather is to blame for an overnight crash in Lexington.
Yeah, this is what's trending at this hour. The police say the driver crashed into a tree that fell across Military Pike overnight out near the airport. He was not seriously hurt. Military Pike was closed for a few hours, but he is back open this morning.
Employees at Max Karaoke Bar tackled a gunman overnight after they say he tried to steal money from the DJ's tip jar. Now, luckily, no one was hurt. That suspect is charged with robbery. His name has not been released.
Just some gentle showers this morning, but some of those storms may be returning the next couple of days. Here's Micah.
Yeah, and the thunderstorms that are going on back toward our west, just north of Bowling Green, near the Cave City Horse Cave area. That's where the dinosaurs are located. If you've traveled 65, you know exactly where that landmark is. But that's where those thunderstorms are located now. Now you're getting some small hail within these and a lot of lightning. These are heading eastbound. Give it another, say, hour and a half, and you're going to be seeing this over Marion County, Taylor County, and also Casey County. So just keep that in mind. If these stick together, that's where they will be in just about an hour. Other than that, we have the showers outside. Most of this very light, but some moderate showers here and there. And the main focus of the energy is back toward the west. This is heading our direction. We'll have thunderstorms later on today, especially during that afternoon, late afternoon, off into the evening hours, as those storms will be on the increase. Temperatures will be right around 78. This isn't an all-day thing. You will get breaks in the action. You'll get big long breaks too. So just keep in mind, if you're trying to get out and make any plans, you will get some breaks in the action to be able to do that. Rounds of storms, that's our focus the next couple of days. When does this push on out? How long do we get a break? Does it go off into the weekend, or do we have more rain? There's a lot to talk about in my 7-day, and it comes up in just about 5 minutes.
Okay, we'll see you then, and we thank you. 6:25 is the time this morning. It's not the sort of thing that you want to see at 30,000 feet or maybe anywhere. In fact,
not at all.
Passengers on an American Airlines flight say a man pulled down his pants and then peed on the floor of the plane.
A flight attendant was notified and sent the Kentucky man to the bathroom. The crew used club soda to clean up the mess. Now, police say 28-year-old Jordan Gardner of Kenton County was busted when the flight from San Francisco landed in Charlotte, North Carolina. Gardner now faces a criminal complaint of destruction of an aircraft. Mr. President and the First Lady now have names for their babies.
And we're talking about the bald eagle, the parents at the U.S. National Arboretum in Washington. The eaglets hatched in February and will be known as Freedom and Liberty. Thousands of bird lovers have been watching the eagle parents and their babies on live streaming the DC Eagle Cam. A lot of folks checking that out, and they are something to see.
They are.
Symbol of the nation. Well, if you have to sit at a desk all day long, at least dress up and turn it into some kind of game.
That's what they do in Taiwan. Take a look at this. It's the annual office chair races. Now, that is something to do here. Taking a cue from a Japanese tradition, participants dress up in bizarre costumes and race backwards down the streets in office chairs.
They have a good time. It's kind of like they have the hotel games around here. I think Micah has emceed the last few years. So they have a lot of fun, you know, turning the mundane into something fun. It's
you know,
a good deal.
With work, you have to have a little fun.
Yeah.
You work hard, you have to fun.
Be a little creative. You got it. All right, it is coming up on 627, bright and early on your Wednesday. A lot more news coming up on WKYT.
Only WKYT was there as members of the Knox County School Board walked out during a heated meeting. Find out why at 6:30.